Hello students, this is Professor Layton with a lesson for your English studies. Today I'm going to talk to you about APA citation and references. APA stands for American Psychological Association. They are the group that put together the rules for citing in this particular system. Most of you will be using APA at some point in your career as a student writing your papers. And many students find it very, very difficult to figure out how to cite correctly. So we're going to talk about the system of APA and how the system works. So the system is based on two things. You have the APA in-text citation and you have the APA references list. These two work as a system, and it's best for you to understand the system so that you don't make mistakes in your citations. We're going to start with the references first because the in-text citations, sometimes also called parenthetical citations, actually refer to your references list. So we're going to start with the references, and then you're going to see how the two work together. So your references list is a list of sources that you have researched and actually used in your paper. That makes it different from a bibliography, which is a list of everything you have used in your research process. In the references list, you are using only those things that you actually quote, paraphrase, or summarize in your paper. That list is organized alphabetically by author's last name. So the references list has the word references at the top. It's in standard Times New Roman 12-point black typeface font. That's the standard for everything in APA. You have the word references centered above your list, and then you have the list itself. Items in your references list are organized by categories, and each category is indicated by a period. Things within a category are separated by commas, so you have these two pieces of punctuation to worry about. You have the period that indicates the end of a category, and a comma which indicates further information within a category. And your categories are pretty simple, so let's take a look. You have author's name, period. Date of publication, inside parentheses, period. Title of the source, period. Source publication name, period. And if you got it from any kind of internet source whatsoever, your retrieval information, period. Authors' names are always in the form last, comma, initial. If the author has two names beyond the surname, then you use those initials. So it could be last I, or it could be last IA, for example. Publication year goes inside the parentheses. The title of the thing you are talking about goes next. If the title is part of a larger work, then it is not inside quotations marks, and it is not italicized, and it is not underlined, and only specific words are beginning capitalized. These would be the first word of the title, the first word of the subtitle, and any proper nouns. Those are names, people, places, and things. So you have the title of the work. Let's assume in this case, what you're going to be using mostly are parts of wholes. So these are articles inside a journal or a magazine, articles that you find online on the web, or perhaps the chapter of a book. So you have that title in place. Next comes the publication source. So there's a period in the publication source. If it's a journal title or the title of a book or something like that, then it is italicized, but otherwise not treated specially. If it's a web source, then you have the web site where it came from. That too would be italicized. If it's a journal or other periodical publication. Then you have the title of the journal, followed by the specific publication information. This would be, for instance, the volume and issue number and the page numbers of the particular item that you are referencing. And then if you got it from the web or from other online sources such as a library database, then you'd have the retrieval information at the end. This is all organized alphabetically by authors' last names. If there is no author, then you can use some substitute for the author. Sometimes that will be the title shifting to the first part, or it might be anonymous, or it might be something else. All right, so that takes care of the references list. The next part is the citations, the in-text citations. Now you should think about the in-text citations as pointers. They are signs. They are pointing you to items on the references list. So the reason you are doing all this is to create a way for somebody else to find your research. So they can look at what you've written in your reference list and say, aha, I want that particular piece of research and I want to look that up. So when we go to the citations, citations are simpler. Remember that these are merely signs pointing to the references list. So in the citations, you have two primary pieces of information and maybe some supplemental information. And these are handled mostly by parentheses. The two primary pieces of information are the author's last name and the publication year. So those are the two pieces of information that are at the front of your reference. Now, in APA, the way you do this can vary depending upon how you are doing your quotation or paraphrase. The standard way is something like this: author, parentheses, publication year, says quotation. Then at the end of the quotation, if there's a page number, then a different set of parentheses with P period, the page number, close parentheses, and period. Now sometimes if you haven't included the author's name in your quotation or paraphrase, then you will put that parenthetical citation at the end of the quotation or paraphrase, again inside of the parentheses with author name, comma, publication year. If it's a quotation and it has page numbers, then comma, P period, the number, close parenthesis, period. So that's how this all works. This points to that, and that is how you cite and how a reader will retrieve information about the sources you researched using APA method. I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to talking to you once more.